The southernmost point of our planet is a place that feels less like Earth and more like another world entirely. A frozen kingdom of endless ice, powerful storms, and secrets buried for millions of years beneath layers so deep that even our most advanced machines can barely scratch the surface. Antarctica is beautiful, yes, but it is also dangerous, unpredictable, and filled with mysteries that scientists still struggle to explain. Welcome to World's Echoes. If you love exploring the hidden wonders of our world and the questions that still haunt us, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the stories waiting just beyond the edge of the map. Imagine standing on a landmass larger than Europe, yet nearly every inch of it is covered in ice that's older than human civilization. The air bites harder than anywhere else on the planet, with winds so fast they can rip tents from the ground and leave explorers frozen in moments. Beneath that ice lie mountains taller than the Alps, lakes sealed away for millions of years, and perhaps even traces of ancient life that has never seen the surface. But Antarctica is not just a land of wonder, it's a place where nature shows no mercy. It has swallowed entire expeditions, silenced explorers, and remains one of the few places on Earth where humanity is still a fragile visitor. Think about it. While we've mapped the surface of Mars more clearly than the ocean floor, we know shockingly little about Antarctica's secrets. Its ice sheets are a locked vault, hiding worlds that could change everything we know about history, about climate, and maybe even about life itself. And yet, even with today's technology, every journey into Antarctica is a gamble with survival. Why? Because this is not just another frozen desert. Antarctica is alive. It moves, it shifts, it breathes in its own icy way. When the first explorers braved this land in the early 20th century, they weren't just battling the cold. They were walking into the unknown, charting coastlines swallowed by blizzards, climbing mountains that had no names, and facing an emptiness so absolute it could drive a person mad. Some of them never returned. Their names are carved into the annals of exploration as warnings of just how unforgiving Antarctica can be. But even with all its dangers, Antarctica keeps pulling us back. Why? Because buried beneath its frozen silence are stories of Earth's past, hints about our future, and puzzles that scientists cannot yet solve. Now imagine the ice cracking beneath your feet. Beneath you, 2 miles down, is a liquid lake that has been sealed off from sunlight for millions of years. What kind of organisms might be lurking in that alien darkness? Microbes that adapted to impossible conditions? Life forms that could teach us how to survive on other planets? This is not science fiction, it's real. Lakes like Vostok, Mercer, and Whillans exist under Antarctica's surface, hidden worlds that remain untouched, waiting for us to unlock them. Some scientists believe they could contain ecosystems unlike anything else on Earth, making Antarctica one of the closest analogs we have for searching for life on distant icy moons like Europa or Enceladus. And then there are the mountains, yes, mountains hidden beneath the ice. The Gamburtsev mountain range stretches for nearly 1,200 kilometers under Antarctica's frozen crust, as tall as the European Alps, yet invisible to the human eye. How did such a colossal range form? Why does it remain so perfectly preserved? It's one of the greatest geological mysteries we've ever stumbled upon, and one we still can't fully explain. But perhaps the most chilling secret of all is not what lies beneath, but what might happen if Antarctica's ice begins to disappear. The continent holds about 60% of the world's fresh water, locked inside glaciers thousands of meters thick. If those glaciers collapse into the sea, entire coastlines around the world could be swallowed. Cities would vanish, millions would be displaced, and the Earth we know would be reshaped forever. Scientists warn us that Antarctica is not a frozen museum, it's an unstable giant. And it's waking up faster than we thought. So why does Antarctica remain the most dangerous and mysterious place on Earth? Because it is both a time capsule and a ticking time bomb. A land that could rewrite our understanding of the past while threatening the very foundations of our future. As we journey deeper into its mysteries, keep one thought in your mind: humanity has barely touched the edges of this frozen world. We are outsiders here, fragile creatures in a land designed to test the limits of endurance. Antarctica doesn't care about our ambitions or our questions. But if we're brave enough, it just might reveal answers we're not ready to face. The deeper we go into the frozen heart of Antarctica, the more it feels like stepping outside the rules of Earth itself. Here, night and day lose their meaning. In summer, the sun refuses to set, casting endless light across a horizon of white that stretches further than the eye can follow. In winter, the opposite happens, months of total darkness where the land seems to vanish into an eternal void, broken only by the dance of the aurora across the skies. For early explorers, these extremes were more than just strange, they were maddening. Imagine being trapped in a wooden hut, surrounded by ice, unable to leave, as the sun refuses to rise for weeks, then months. That silence, that crushing stillness, has been known to push even the strongest minds into despair. And yet, those same extremes are what make Antarctica so endlessly fascinating. The conditions here are the closest we can get to another planet without leaving Earth. Astronauts preparing for missions to Mars or the Moon have trained here, learning how to endure isolation, how to work when the environment itself wants to kill you, and how to survive when rescue is nearly impossible. Antarctica is not just a continent, it's a mirror of what lies beyond the stars, a proving ground for humanity's ability to face the unknown. But survival here has never been easy. Let's step back for a moment to the so-called heroic age of Antarctic exploration, a time when men armed with little more than wool coats, compasses, and sheer determination set out to conquer the last blank spot on the map. Ernest Shackleton, Robert Falcon Scott, Roald Amundsen, names carved into history, each tied to stories of courage, tragedy, and unshakable human spirit. Shackleton's endurance expedition of 1914 is perhaps the most famous of them all. Trapped in the ice, his ship crushed and swallowed by the frozen sea, Shackleton and his men spent months surviving on the ice floes, braving hunger, frostbite, and despair. Against all odds, Shackleton managed to lead his men to safety without losing a single life. His story has become a symbol of resilience, but it's also a reminder of Antarctica's raw power. It decides who lives and who dies, and it never negotiates. Even Amundsen, the man who first reached the South Pole in 1911, knew that victory here came at a cost. His rival, Robert Falcon Scott, reached the pole just weeks after Amundsen, only to perish with his team on the return journey, their bodies found frozen in their tent, diaries filled with words of hope that would never be fulfilled. Antarctica doesn't play favorites. It rewards preparation, punishes arrogance, and demands respect from anyone who dares to enter. But the dangers aren't only in the past. Even today, with all our technology and resources, Antarctica remains treacherous. Temperatures plunge below -80 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze exposed skin in less than a minute. Winds can howl at more than 200 miles per hour, turning snow into blinding walls of ice shards that cut like glass. And then there are the crevasses, deep cracks hidden under deceptively smooth snow. To walk across the ice here is to gamble with every step. One wrong move, and you could fall into a frozen abyss from which no rope or rescue can pull you back. And yet, despite all of this, scientists continue to flock to Antarctica. Why? Because the continent is like a library written in ice, holding the history of Earth within its frozen pages. Each layer of ice is a time capsule, capturing air bubbles from thousands of years ago, snapshots of our planet's ancient climate. By drilling deep into these layers, scientists can read Earth's past, uncovering the rise and fall of ice ages, the shifting of oceans, and even the fingerprints of human activity long before modern history began. It's as if Antarctica has been keeping a diary for millions of years, waiting for us to learn how to read it. But reading the diary comes with its own risks. The very act of drilling into Antarctica's untouched depths raises questions. What if we release something ancient that has been locked away for millions of years? Beneath the ice lie lakes so isolated, they have not seen sunlight since long before humans walked the Earth. In 2012, Russian scientists drilled into Lake Vostok, buried under more than 3 kilometers of ice. The world held its breath. What would they find? The first samples revealed signs of microbial life, organisms that may have adapted to survive in total darkness, under crushing pressure, without oxygen, in water as old as time itself. If life can survive there, then maybe it can survive in the hidden oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa or Saturn's moon Enceladus. In this way, Antarctica becomes not just a mystery of Earth, but a key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. And yet, there's something unsettling about what else might be hiding under the ice. Some theories suggest entire ancient landscapes are preserved there, rivers and valleys frozen in time. Some even speculate about the possibility of fossils or evidence of life forms long vanished. Could Antarctica have once been a lush, green paradise? The evidence suggests yes. Millions of years ago, Antarctica wasn't frozen at all. It was covered in forests, home to dinosaurs, and bathed in warm, humid air. Fossilized plants and trees have been found beneath the ice, proof that this land once thrived with life. The transformation from a living, breathing continent to the icy desert we know today is one of the greatest shifts in Earth's history. What caused it? How did an entire continent freeze into silence? Those answers lie hidden in the very ice that now defines Antarctica. And here's where the story becomes even more haunting. Because while Antarctica holds secrets of the past, it also warns us about the future. Scientists are watching its glaciers with growing alarm. One in particular, the Thwaites Glacier, has earned the nickname the Doomsday Glacier. It's massive, so massive that if it collapses, sea levels could rise dramatically, flooding coastal cities around the world. And the signs are clear: cracks are spreading, ice is thinning, and warm ocean currents are already eating away at the glacier from below. If Thwaites goes, it could trigger a chain reaction, destabilizing the entire West Antarctic ice sheet. The result would not just be rising seas, but a reshaping of global coastlines within our lifetimes. This is why Antarctica is not just a place of frozen beauty. It's a warning, a sleeping giant whose awakening could rewrite human civilization. And yet, for all its dangers, for all its mysteries, we cannot look away. Because Antarctica is not just ice and wind, it is a reminder of how fragile we are, how little we know, and how much we still have to discover. Let me ask you this: if you could uncover just one secret hidden beneath Antarctica's ice, what would you hope to find? A lost ecosystem untouched by time? Evidence of an ancient civilization? Or something so alien that it changes the way we see life itself? Share your thoughts in the comments. Because the mysteries of Antarctica don't just belong to scientists or explorers, they belong to all of us, dreamers curious enough to wonder what lies beyond the horizon. The more we explore Antarctica, the more it feels like a paradox. It is both a place of silence and violence, emptiness and abundance, fragility and power. It seems still, frozen in time, yet it is constantly moving, groaning, cracking, and reshaping itself in ways we can barely keep up with. And it is here, in this frozen theater, that Earth reminds us who is truly in control. Let's imagine standing at the base of one of Antarctica's colossal glaciers. The wall of ice in front of you rises higher than a skyscraper, a sheer frozen cliff stretching as far as the eye can see. For a moment, it seems eternal, unbreakable. But then a sound rumbles across the air, like thunder echoing through the sky. A section of the glacier breaks away, plunging into the sea with a roar that drowns everything else. This is calving the moment when Antarctica sheds its skin. The sight is mesmerizing, breathtaking, and terrifying all at once. Because each of these collapses is not just a natural process, it's a glimpse into the unraveling of a continent that has held itself together for millions of years. But if the glaciers are dramatic on the outside, what's beneath them is even more haunting. Beneath Antarctica's thick ice lie subglacial volcanoes, some still active. Yes, volcanoes. In fact, Antarctica holds the largest volcanic region on Earth, with nearly 140 hidden volcanoes scattered beneath the ice. Most remain dormant, but some show signs of activity. Imagine the heat of a volcano trapped under kilometers of ice. If even one of these erupts with force, it could accelerate melting, destabilize glaciers, and send shockwaves through the global climate system. It's as if Antarctica isn't just hiding secrets, it's guarding them with fire beneath the ice. And then there are the whispers of stranger things. Stories circulate of unusual anomalies buried deep under the surface, detected by satellites and radar scans. One of the most famous is the so-called Wilkes Land anomaly, a massive gravitational disturbance beneath the ice the size of a city. Some speculate it could be the remains of a giant meteorite that struck Earth millions of years ago, perhaps contributing to the extinction of the dinosaurs. Others wonder if it might be something else entirely, an ancient geological structure, or something far beyond our imagination. Whatever it is, it reminds us that Antarctica still hides mysteries we have yet to even begin unraveling. But exploration here is no simple task. Every expedition faces life-threatening risks. Even in modern times, planes have gone missing in Antarctica, swallowed by storms or buried in the snow, never to be seen again. Equipment freezes. Fuel becomes brittle. Communication lines collapse in the blizzards. For scientists stationed here, even stepping outside for too long can mean frostbite or worse. Yet they continue, because what Antarctica offers in return is knowledge that could reshape our understanding of the planet. The continent also holds something few people expect: meteorites. Lots of them. In fact, Antarctica is one of the best places on Earth to find meteorites, because the dark stones stand out starkly against the white ice. These are not just space rocks, they are time travelers, fragments from other worlds, even from the birth of the solar system. Some may carry clues about the origins of life itself. In 1984, scientists discovered a meteorite in Antarctica that seemed to contain microscopic structures resembling fossilized bacteria. It sparked a heated debate: could this be evidence of ancient life on Mars? The mystery remains unresolved, but it shows just how strange and otherworldly Antarctica can be. But what about life here on Earth, clinging to this frozen desert? You might think Antarctica is lifeless, but it is not. It is home to some of the most resilient creatures on the planet. Penguins huddle together through months of darkness, enduring temperatures that would kill most animals. Seals slip beneath the ice into frigid waters, holding their breath for over an hour in pursuit of fish. Microscopic extremophiles survive in places where liquid water barely exists, hinting at the adaptability of life itself. These creatures are reminders that even in the harshest conditions imaginable, life finds a way. And yet, Antarctica also demonstrates the fragility of life. Small changes in temperature or ice coverage can devastate these ecosystems. Penguins struggle when sea ice vanishes too quickly. Krill, the tiny shrimp-like creatures that form the foundation of the Antarctic food web, are disappearing as warming waters reduce the ice they depend on. If the base of the food chain collapses, the ripple effects could spread across the entire Southern Ocean and beyond. This is why Antarctica is not just a frozen wilderness, it's a warning beacon for the planet. What happens here doesn't stay here. The melting of ice sheets, the warming of oceans, the shifts in ecosystems, all of these changes reverberate across the globe. When scientists talk about Antarctica, they are not just studying a remote land at the bottom of the world. They are studying the fate of all of us. And here's where we pause for just a second. If you've been captivated by this journey so far, if you're as fascinated by the mysteries and dangers of Antarctica as we are, take a moment to support World's Echoes. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this story with someone who loves exploring the unknown. It might seem like a small action, but it helps keep these journeys alive and ensures more people can join us as we uncover the secrets of our world. Now, let's return to the ice. There is another strange phenomenon in Antarctica that has baffled scientists for decades, something called blood falls. At first glance, it looks like a gruesome wound in the ice, a waterfall of blood-red liquid seeping from the Taylor Glacier. But it isn't blood at all. It's salty water rich in iron, flowing from a subglacial lake sealed beneath the ice for millions of years. When the water meets the air, the iron oxidizes, turning it red. It's haunting to look at, almost alien, but it's also proof of how much remains hidden under Antarctica's frozen skin. And still, the questions deepen. How many more hidden lakes exist? How many ancient microbial worlds wait for us to discover them? What will we find if we dig deeper, push further, risk more? Every step in Antarctica seems to lead not to answers, but to more questions. What we do know is this: Antarctica remains the most dangerous and mysterious place on Earth because it is both ancient and alive. It preserves the memory of forests that no longer exist, shelters life forms that defy imagination, and threatens to reshape the future of every coastline on the planet. It is a place where science, history, and myth collide, a land where the human spirit is tested, and where the greatest mysteries of Earth are still waiting in silence beneath the ice. For all its icy silence, Antarctica is not a land that sleeps. Beneath the frozen surface, things stir: anomalies, forces, and secrets that fuel both scientific wonder and human imagination. And sometimes, what scientists detect here defies easy explanation. Take, for example, the strange magnetic anomalies that satellites and survey flights have picked up in East Antarctica. One of the most mysterious lies beneath Wilkes Land, a depression buried under kilometers of ice. In the 1960s, geophysicists detected a massive gravitational disturbance there, stretching hundreds of kilometers across. To put it simply, something very, very dense is buried under that ice. Some believe it could be the scar of an ancient asteroid impact, perhaps the very one that contributed to the extinction of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Others suggest it might be a vast geological structure unlike anything else we know. Whatever it is, it's one of the largest anomalies ever recorded on Earth, and it lies hidden in Antarctica's frozen depths, silent and unexplained. And then there are the cold spots, unusual zones where satellites pick up temperatures even lower than what's expected. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth came from one of these spots, -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or -89.2 Celsius, at the Soviet Vostok station. Later satellite measurements suggest pockets on the plateau may dip below -133 degrees Fahrenheit. Try to imagine that kind of cold. Your breath freezes before it leaves your lips, steel shatters like glass, and survival becomes a matter of minutes. These aren't just numbers on a thermometer, they are reminders of just how alien Antarctica can be, even on our own planet. But Antarctica's mysteries aren't only scientific. Over the years, it has become a magnet for myths, conspiracies, and legends. Some claim ancient civilizations might have once thrived here before the continent froze. Old maps, like the infamous Piri Reis map from 1513, appear to depict parts of Antarctica free of ice, sparking debates about whether ancient seafarers had knowledge we've lost. Most historians dismiss this as coincidence or misinterpretation, but the idea lingers: what if Antarctica's ice hides not just natural secrets, but human history lost to time? And then there are the rumors of hidden bases, fueled by the continent's role during the Second World War and the Cold War. Nazi expeditions to Antarctica in the 1930s have sparked endless speculation, with some suggesting they sought to establish secret outposts there. Later, during the height of Cold War tensions, both the United States and the Soviet Union increased their presence on the continent, conducting operations cloaked in secrecy. Officially, much of it was scientific research. But Antarctica's remoteness, its harsh environment, and its lack of witnesses have made it fertile ground for speculation. Could nations be hiding more beneath the ice than they admit? In truth, what we do know is already remarkable enough. Antarctica is the only continent without a native human population. No country owns it outright. Instead, it is governed by the Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, which set aside the continent for peaceful scientific exploration. It is, in theory, a place where humanity sets aside politics in the name of discovery. But the treaty doesn't erase ambition. Multiple nations maintain research stations, some of them permanent, scattered across the ice. The United States, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, and others all have footprints here. Research is the stated goal, but in a world where resources are running thin, Antarctica's untouched riches cannot be ignored forever. Beneath the ice lie vast reserves of coal, oil, and natural gas, not to mention untapped freshwater in unimaginable quantities. Officially, these resources are off-limits. But unofficially, there are concerns that nations are quietly positioning themselves for a future when the treaty may no longer hold. After all, Antarctica's minerals and resources could shape the balance of global power. And this raises another layer of mystery: is the race to understand Antarctica only about science, or is it also about preparing for the future? But beyond politics and resources, there is something even more captivating: Antarctica's connection to space. Yes, space. Because Antarctica is one of the best places on Earth to study the universe. Its thin, dry air and clear skies make it perfect for telescopes. In fact, one of the world's most powerful neutrino detectors, called IceCube, sits buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Imagine this: over 5,000 sensors, frozen a mile down, spread across a cubic kilometer of ice. Their mission? To detect neutrinos, ghost-like particles that pass through everything Earth, you, me, without leaving a trace. By studying these particles, scientists can peer into the most violent events in the universe: exploding stars, colliding black holes, even the birth of galaxies. And they're doing it from Antarctica. It's a strange thought, isn't it? That the coldest, harshest place on Earth is also one of the best windows we have into the universe. It's as if Antarctica isn't just the end of the world, it's the edge of something greater, a place where Earth and cosmos meet. And yet, the more we learn, the more we realize how little we know. Beneath the ice, rivers flow in complete darkness, carving hidden landscapes we've never seen. Radar has revealed vast networks of subglacial valleys, mountains, and plains, almost like a shadow continent beneath the one we know. Lakes such as Lake Vostok, sealed for millions of years, remain only partly explored. What life thrives there? What secrets of evolution and survival wait in that untouched water? Each time we drill, we take a risk not just of contamination, but of releasing something ancient into the modern world. Some scientists fear we may awaken microbes that could prove dangerous. Others believe we may discover organisms that could revolutionize medicine, biology, even our understanding of life itself. And then there's the sheer unpredictability of Antarctica itself. Icequakes ripple through the continent as glaciers grind and shift. Massive chunks of ice the size of cities break away and drift into the ocean, disrupting ecosystems and shipping routes. Whole regions change shape in a matter of months. To stand on Antarctica is to stand on shifting ground, a land that seems solid but is forever in motion. For all of this, though, the most haunting thought is that Antarctica may one day lose its greatest secret, the ice itself. As the world warms, the continent is changing. Glaciers are retreating. Ice shelves are collapsing. The very forces that make Antarctica mysterious and dangerous are now threatening to unleash consequences for the entire planet. We're not just studying the continent, we're gambling with it. And if we lose, we all pay the price. Think of coastal cities like New York, Shanghai, or Karachi. Think of island nations already on the edge of survival. All of them are tied to what happens at the bottom of the world. Antarctica is not remote in its influence. It's the heartbeat of the global climate, and right now, that heartbeat is faltering. And yet, we remain captivated. Because Antarctica is more than a warning. It is a place of wonder, of endless beauty, of mysteries that still keep us awake at night. It is proof that Earth is far more complex, far more alive, than we ever imagined. And though it may be the most dangerous place on the planet, it is also one of the most inspiring. A land that humbles us, challenges us, and calls us back again and again. And so, as we take our last step across this frozen wilderness in our imagination, we are left with a truth that is both sobering and inspiring. Antarctica remains the most dangerous and mysterious place on Earth, not because it is hostile to us, but because it is beyond us. It is a place where human power fades and the raw essence of the planet speaks louder than anything we have built. It is a frozen mirror reflecting both the fragility of life and the sheer might of nature. We may never fully conquer it, and maybe we never should. Perhaps Antarctica exists to remind us that there are still places that belong not to humankind, but to the Earth itself. Places where mystery lives on, where danger is part of the beauty, and where questions linger without easy answers. As you sit there right now, warm and safe, think about this. At this very moment, the winds are howling across the glaciers, penguins are huddling against the storm, and somewhere beneath a mile of ice, ancient secrets lie waiting. Secrets that may hold the story of our past, and perhaps even the key to our future. That is why Antarctica matters. That is why it will always be a place of wonder, danger, and mystery. If this journey across the frozen edge of our planet has stirred your imagination, if you felt the same awe and curiosity that drives explorers and dreamers alike, then I invite you to stay with us. This is World's Echoes, and here we bring you the stories that reveal the hidden corners of our world. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves a good mystery, and most importantly, subscribe so you never miss the echoes of worlds still waiting to be discovered. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and remember, the Earth still holds secrets that may never be fully known.